Hello and welcome to Ghosts of Saltmarsh. Behind the scenes. What am I saying? Below the decks. We haven't got there yet. Still got to get there. So we are talking spoilers. Who are we? I am Guy from the channel How to Be a Great GM, YouTube channel that is. And we're talking spoilers behind the scenes of what I'm planning on today's session in the Ghosts of Saltmarsh game. So if you are here just to watch the live playthrough with our awesome players, go take a coffee break, grab something to eat. In half an hour the show starts. It starts on the hour. If you are here to see what I'm planning and plotting for today, well, then you've come to the right place. So today we're going to be a little bit more technical than we have been in the past, and that is simply because, well, we're on track. Everything is now going according to plan. We have managed to bring back our elusive characters from the chaos and craziness that they were on to our plan, to our master plot. So let's have a look at the master plot to begin with. This is behind me the master plot that I have had planned out since the very beginning. I purposefully haven't changed it or updated it so that you can see how it has progressed and how it moved forward. Now, we got the very first episode, right? That was the sea battle. Everything after that kind of slowed down because we had lots of PC story stuff happening. They were exploring their backstories, they were exploring new emergent stories and the like, which was fantastic. It really was great to start to delve into the story behind Captain Salt and Lahuna and Jagsy and even get some insight into Indigo and Flick. We got back onto track last episode. Now, if you look at it, we were supposed to go from the top down. We were supposed to have Sinister Secrets of Saltmarsh for 2 episodes. We did have that. We had 1 episode where it was supposed to be linking all of the stuff together. We haven't really had that too much, although now the player characters should be in a position where they are aware of what's going on. And then the Lizard Alliance, we've had 1 major session with them so far, and we've got 1 more. They're still there. That's where we left off last time. But they have now been told where they need to go to assemble the strange magical artifact known as the Kenta Aha. The Kenta Aha, the strange artifact which allows them to see the past of animals or creatures that have been slain. They sort of can look into the past and see what caused their deaths, as well as they can see the magic necrotic trail which the black tide has brought with it. The final component which they will need to add to this to complete the Kenta Aha will allow them supposedly to understand how to defeat the giant Kraken and the Lich who controls it and is trying to now destroy Saltmarsh town itself. So where do we now pick up? If we look at our list on our adventures, we are now here. I can actually point there, my camera's that high up. Aquatic adventure, PC background, the black tide tries to destroy aquatic race. So that was the broad descriptor that we had in place for this adventure for today. Now, we have to get them to the pit of Golgur, which is out in the middle of the ocean. I'll bring up a map in a little bit. So that's all I need to do, is I need to get to the pit of Golgur, and then I can have this, can't go that far, this one, the Aquatic Adventure PC background playing out, because we've only got 5 shows left, 5 episodes left. Now, there have been requests for us to extend the show or to add in more seasons and things. Things are in negotiation, that's all I can say for the time being. Even if that did happen, however, would we then expand upon this and take it further? I don't think so. We need to wrap up this big Kraken thing, at least as far as I'm concerned. So could we expand it? Yes, we could. Right, so that's where we are. We are now back on track. We are in the Aquatic Adventure. Now, part of the Ghosts of Saltmarsh, and this is something that I'm very aware of, is that naval combat is a thing. So I'm going to be looking into naval combat in today's session. Now, the naval combat system that we'll be using is not actually the system that's in the Ghosts of Saltmarsh game in the book itself as described by D&D. It's something that I've kind of homebrewed. Now, why did I homebrew it? Well, quite simply, I tried to speed up the naval combat process, and working with some amazing play testers, and the list is too long for me to read through, we've worked out some of the minor flaws and major flaws that are part of that system. So we'll be using my system in terms of the ship combat, and it is quite literally because although the ship combat can be fun, a lot of times you have a lot of PCs who are not capable of being involved in those kinds of things, and sometimes you have a lot of players who are not interested in doing that kind of stuff. So I've got a little bit of a faster system here. Those of you who are diehard D&D fans and who like to play things raw or rules as written, I'm afraid if you want a demonstration of that sort of ship combat, I can do that on my channel later on. You're going to be seeing my system in action today, hopefully, if the PCs go where I want them to. So where do I want the PCs to go to? Well, for that's going to require us to have an idea of, well, in terms of getting them to their ship as fast as we possibly can. Right, so how are we going to do that? How are we going to get to the characters, I should say, getting to that point? Well, the easiest way to do that is to not let them get back to Saltmarsh.
A name
we
for
don't
disease.
want them to go back
awful.
to Saltmarsh.
But in Greek, it's fire,
we
which is
have some technical difficulties going on here. Let me just see what's happening. There's my players all waiting desperately in the wings for the show to start. We don't want to show them just yet. We want to see just me. So I am back on screen now. Right, so there we go. I'm glad none of them were naked as they usually are. But... right, so how do we get our players into the pit of Golgur as fast as we can, incorporating one naval battle? To do this, I need to get them out of the Lizardfolk lair as fast as possible. And I need to get them onto the ship, the Second Chance, as fast as possible. The way to do that is simply to not let them get back to Saltmarsh. This is something that I debated long and hard on this entire week in terms of, if they get back to Saltmarsh, what's going to happen? Well, there's so many things that are going to happen. We're going to have Gellan Prime Water coming down. There's going to be all kinds of PC interaction. And although that would be very interesting from a player story perspective, I don't have the luxury of an extra 12 or 13 sessions where we can then play through those natural repercussions. This is kind of where we refer to things like the narrative imperative. This is what we expect to happen, and if it doesn't happen, it's going to feel weird, it's going to feel unnatural. The only way to prevent that from happening would be, and this is something that I referred to last week, having had Gellan's people find the corpse of the lizard prince that was slain by Jagsy during the combat in the haunted mansion, and Gellan mistakenly or incorrectly assuming that the Lizardfolk have not only stolen the gnomish fire crystals, but also have abducted Salt and his crew. Gellan is giving Salt the benefit of the doubt. There are a few reasons why I'm doing this. One is that Salt seemed genuinely remorseful that he had left Gellan's employ in the past. Gellan has had no indication that Salt was in any way, shape or form against him when he returned to Saltmarsh. After all, he returned on his own volition. Why would he do that if he was plotting something against Gellan? That's point number one. Point number two, what it allows me to do is work on a precedent which I seeded with my players beforehand in the form of the rumours. Now, part of the rumours was that Gellan had dispatched ships to go and find Salt when Captain Salt originally left. What that allows me to do is then say, well, Gellan is going to do exactly what he's done before. He's going to dispatch ships to go and find Salt and his missing gnomish fire crystals. He can't blow up that first rate if he doesn't have the fire crystals. So there's two things that he's looking for. Now, again, this is where we start to fall back on coincidence and all those kinds of cool and fun things, where he dispatches the Second Chance, the ship owned by Captain Salt and crew. He dispatches them to go look for the Lizardfolk, and assumedly Captain Salt and the gnomish fire crystals. The Second Chance will travel north towards the swamps, whilst our intrepid heroes are in the canoe travelling south, ostensibly back to Saltmarsh. Except that they will interact, they will find one another, and I've got a little bit of an encounter planned for that, just so that it's not completely boring, and just basically a paragraph of travelogue, which we don't want. So I've got a little bit of an encounter that's going to set that up, going to bring back some NPCs, which the PCs liked and enjoyed interacting with, so I've got them in the wings. They will then get back onto the Second Chance. Now, because Gellan is also not the most trusting of individuals, there'll be a second ship ghosting the second chance. When they see that Salt has come aboard and that none of Gellen's crew are left remaining on the ship, which I'm fairly certain is what the PCs will do, they'll probably try and convert them to join their cause first, and when of course they don't, there'll be another little scuffle. We then have our second ship combat, and hopefully what that will do is encourage the PCs not to travel to Saltmarsh. Instead, just to head straight on to the pit of Golgur. If it looks like they might be heading towards Saltmarsh, well, quite frankly, then I'll throw another ship at them to keep them away from Saltmarsh. Or I will increase the threat of the Black Tide. Perhaps they will get a taste of it firsthand. They should have had it by now. So yes, let's see what happens there. Let me just see. I'm going to jump over very quickly. Where's my mouse now? There it is. So weird. I have all these screens set up and my mouse just vanishes sometimes. Forgive me. Right. Let's see if there's any questions coming through. Any questions coming through on the Twitch stream? Let's see. I'm glad to see you all here. There's Roach DE's question. Will Indigo's character sheet be put up on the World Anvil as well? I believe it is there. If there are moderators around, can you guys have a look and check, please? Let's just have a look and see what's going on there. And yes, please put question in front of it so I can see it easily. And that way you don't have to repeat your question. But if I didn't answer it, you can always repeat it again. Is this a session in Ghost of Saltmarsh? GameHog, I hope you realized by now. Yes, it is. AK Writer, are you planning for the evil lich to ride the Kraken all the time or control the Kraken from some ghost ship like the Flying Dutchman? AK Writer, the lich is always going to be on the Kraken. It's just simpler that way. It's easier that way. We don't want to necessarily overly complicate the matter. I think one giant undead Kraken plus then the undead hordes that come with that are more than enough to test our player characters and the like. Now, bearing in mind, our character's only level 3. Possibly they'll be level 4 or maybe level 5 by the time they're facing this Kraken. And for that, they're going to have assembled this Kenta Aha artifact to make sure that they can actually do that. Babcom, glad that you're watching this live. Hello, Slovakia. Glad to have you with us. Right, all the chaos, absolutely. Not a GM stream without technical difficulties, no. Although this time they were fixed. Hopefully you can hear us and the like. Okay, where are we? Any more questions? There we go. White Tiger 225 says, what was that giant creature that walked over them while they were in the longboat? Aha. Right. Well, that giant creature, something that I like to do in my campaign worlds that I'm setting up, because although we're running Ghosts of Saltmarsh as produced by Dungeons and Dragons, and yes, I'm using the city of Saltmarsh from the book because I absolutely adored it. The world setting is something that we made up specifically for the Ghosts of Saltmarsh, the Azure Sea. We built the map very specifically to contain the player characters in case they tried to sail out of the Azure Sea. We made it quite difficult for them. When it comes to creating creatures and things, when I started, I should say, to write the homebrew rules down, I started to realize that scale becomes quite an interesting thing, especially when you start to look at, well, we've got ships and things which are pretty cool, but a lot of creatures, a lot of races would also need to have ships and things. There's no reason why it would only be humans, elves, and gnomes that would have ships. What about lizardfolk? What about orcs? What about tieflings? Do they have specific ships? Do they have specifically designed ships? So then you start to look at, well, I've always had a soft spot for flying sky whales. What about normal whales? Can't they be outfitted with weaponry and turned into sort of whale riders or something? I'm not sure. You then start to look at the size of monsters and you go, they're not that big anymore. Now, we used to have in the good old days, well, we used to have things called colossal sized monsters, which we don't have anymore. So I've kind of gone back to that. So that giant creature that was walking over the canoe, it was actually a giant turtle, or tortoise actually, not turtle, it was a giant tortoise, which can be used as a giant floating island or as a battle tank. Moves very, very slowly, and it's very, very destructive, and there wouldn't be a lot of them around, and they'd be very difficult to tame and the like. So it was just a little bit of flavoring in terms of there are much bigger things out there than one is used to. Dragons are cute for lizards, but we want bigger things. The Krakelich, for example, the giant Kraken, in order to make it feel as if it's part of the world. It's cool to have these gigantic ships and things and monsters that are equitable to that. Roger B asks, will you publish your homebrew rules, running into a similar issue with ship phases of my campaign? Well, Roger B, as a matter of fact, yes, we are. It'll be under the open game license of Dungeons & Dragons. I was hoping to have them released by the end of July, but as the playtesting has happened, the book's got thicker and thicker and thicker. I think we're on about 120 pages of rules at the moment. I know that sounds incredibly daunting, but within that there are over 27 ships that I've sort of created to bring flavor to all of the other races. It's like, oh, wait, what would merfolk have as ships? What would Sharkan have as ships? And of course the races are in there as well. So we've got that for you to have a look at. I was actually talking to some amazing artists this morning going, hey, I need artwork for this and I need artwork for that. So yeah, they will be available. Watch this channel or my own channel for updates on that. Sinister Plank, an entire city? Absolutely, why not? And there's absolutely no reason not to be proud of Jenny from Sweden. She does us proud, I think. Okay, Chrysalis says, any word on the possibility of merchandise from the campaign? I have some good news for you, Chrysalis. I've been busy. I am currently chatting with another artist to do the artwork for at least one of the t-shirts that we would like to do. We're always skeptical in terms of commissioning this kind of stuff. Obviously there are costs and things involved, but yes, there will be at least one Flick t-shirt available, as well as t-shirts from the crew. I literally am waiting for that artwork. I will put it up. I said to the artist I need it by Wednesday next week so we can start to put that stuff up and make it available for you. I think it's really awesome. I decided after the suggestions came around last week that we were going to do it for the cast anyway, just as a way of saying thank you for being awesome and entertaining us, as they do every Saturday. So there you are. Scarix, absolutely, you can submit artwork for the t-shirts. I would love that. Head on over to our Discord, discord.gg/greatgm, and you'll see there's a Ghosts of Saltmarsh channel specifically dedicated to talking about Ghosts of Saltmarsh. It contains spoilers, and if you submit artwork there, that would be absolutely awesome. We also accept artwork of fan art. If you do fan art of any of the characters during the show, send them through to us as well. We send those on to D&D, and sometimes they tweet them. So if you want to get officially tweeted by Dungeons & Dragons for some amazing artwork that you've done, send that through to us. It's awesome. And I know the players always love getting fan artwork made. It's really super cool. BNA UK says, can you make a Flick dice set with weighted dice that always lands on a 1? I suspect we'll just ask Kaora to send us his dice set, and we can distribute that out to whomever wants a dice that automatically rolls a 1. Okay, let's see. No more questions coming through. I'm going to show you very quickly what I've been doing, because we've got some time here. Let me go to the ship battle stuff so that you can have a look and see what we're going to be doing.
It'll work for the cheap too. All you have to do is pick up the tab.
Okay, so my actors,
and everyone's just like, "What?"
That. They're busy talking away. Ignore them for now.
And pretty much the culmination of what my character did in combat. So this
is the layout for the ship combat.
Piss everyone off.
Oh dear, they've
because my version of inspiring.
Look at that.
The body.
This is the layout for the ship combat. As you'll notice, we've got a few crucial things here. We've got this range
like, every time they go,
and then we've got this wind dial.
I'm going to use bardic inspiration. Yeah, what are you going to do?
Blowing in.
Oh no!
So when we add a ship, these two pins, we will see the ships represented here, and of course then they've got all of these different things to fire. Now, if you are not familiar with Ghosts of Saltmarsh, I think you should probably go back to the full screen now. See what happens when they see themselves on screen? They just go crazy. They go nuts. They really do. And I have to deal with them on a daily basis. Anyway, so what happens in combat with regards to ship combat, generally speaking, and this is from the Ghosts of Saltmarsh book and previous versions of books that D&D have released since the beginning of the year, I believe. What happens is the ships basically see each other, they start moving towards one another, and then they can take a certain number of actions. And those actions allow the ship to fire their weaponry, as well as to do other bits and pieces. But generally, it's limited in the Ghosts of Saltmarsh book. In the supplement, I've increased the number of orders to well over, I think there's about 30 orders now that the crew can give, well, the players can give to the crew to do various things during combat. General idea is that the ships are armed with ballista, which is a fairly close range type of attack. I think the range of a ballista, I stand to be corrected, is about 300 foot. And then they are also armed occasionally with mangonels. Those are large catapults, and those have a range of 800 feet. So that is an impressive amount of range for an attack, and they do quite an impressive amount of damage. Again, under normal circumstances, that attack roll that's being made is predetermined. Mangonels have a +5 to hit, I think, or a +4, and ballista have a +5 or a +6. And then their damage output is either 3d10 or 4d10, depending on which weapon is being used. The two ships can attack various ship components, which is a particularly exciting thing. They can attack the sails, they can attack the hull, they can attack the helm, which would prevent the ship from making any kind of course corrections, and of course they can attack the actual propulsion system. So it could be sails, it could be oars, doesn't really matter. You can attack that. So if you take out the sails of the oars, ship can no longer move. If you take out the helm, the ship can no longer turn. If you do, you can target the actual weaponry themselves, the ballista or the mangonels, and of course if you reduce those down in hit points, you can then basically prevent them from firing back at you, and of course you can then just attack the hull, and most attacks are assumed to be directed at the hull anyway. When the hull reaches 0, the ship is now sinking and has to be abandoned. That's the long and short of it. We've added in some extra complications, such as, say, wind direction. That's also part of Ghosts of Saltmarsh. If the ship is sailing with the wind, they have better speed than if they're sailing against it. Obviously, if they have oars and things, they don't worry about speed and the like. So those are those kinds of things. What I've done primarily is added in the scale option, which removes the ship movement in terms of managing it from an inch by inch or a 5 foot by 5 foot block. It's now just broken down into 5 discrete different sections to get the ships closer together or further apart, depending on how they choose to operate. Now, bearing in mind we've got 5 PCs and we've got the ship capable of issuing or accepting 3 orders. So what the others are going to be doing whilst the order's being given is, well, who knows? Who knows what Luna's going to be doing or Indigo is going to be doing? Anyway, we shall see all in good time. Any last questions as we're getting closer to the time of Saltmarsh? We literally didn't hear anything you said because all we heard was them cackling. Oh, yes, of course, there would have been that little problem. Yes, right. Yes, we do need to get Flick out of the server room. Right, let's see where we are. Where are we? Now, there's another question here from AK Writer. As far as I understand it, in Dungeons and Dragons, still black powder and thus cannons are not a thing, despite both already existing in the late Middle Ages, since there were full plate armors. I have to assume it's set that late. What is your opinion of that? Well, you know what? There was, when I got the Ghosts of Saltmarsh book, and I'm being perfectly honest here with you, when I got it, I looked at the ships and I went, they don't have cannons. Why don't they have cannons? Even in the DMG, we've got arquebuses as well as cannons. They're already listed there with the damage that they deal. And again, it becomes a major problem of the system versus the expectation and the reality. So in the system, there's not a lot of very good mechanics to handle extreme range combat, which is what a cannon brings to the table. It has a firing range of 2,000 feet, which is what they had, presumably. Well, some of them did anyway, especially the later on ones. So how do you handle PCs running 2,000 feet? It's just a giant slogfest of you run, you get shot at, you run, you get shot at, you run, you get shot at. Yawn, 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 yawn. I also think that the reason why that the cannons weren't included was because Dungeons and Dragons is ostensibly a fantasy game. When you start adding in cannons and black powder, you start to shift towards a pirate. And when we talk pirate, we talk 17th, 18th century type piracy stuff. You start to potentially lose the flavor of a fantasy medieval-esque type of game. So by leaving it out, I think it worked a little bit better. What I did was I looked at the ship designs and I said, okay, I like the ballista, I like the mangonels, but we have trebuchets. So I have some dwarvish destroyer-class ships that have trebuchets on them. Now, trebuchets on ships are awfully dangerous because a trebuchet is all about weight shifting rapidly, whereas a catapult and a ballista are not. They're tension-based weapons. Now, we get to the point where you look at the cannons and you go, you know what, it can work without them. It can work without them. So it's entirely possible that we don't necessarily need them. Can you not sink a ship and just disable it, says White Tiger 225. Yes, you can. If you take out its sails and its helm, or even if you just take out its sails or its oars, if it has sails or oars as its movement base, then the ship can no longer go anywhere. And it's at that point that you can then get your ship alongside and start boarding and engaging in boarding kind of things. So there is definitely that. One thing that they do add, which is quite cool in terms of different weaponry and the like, is that you start to move into the realm of adding magical components to ships. And in Ghosts of Saltmarsh book, they've got things like dragon sails and ice hull and frozen hulls and things like that, which is pretty awesome. And of course, I've expanded on that as well. No more questions. All it takes to disable a ship is hitting its rudder. Yes, that minutiae in terms of targeting hasn't been added in. It has been, like I said, simplified down to sails, helm, and the like. And they've got different armor classes as well. So Fantasy Grounds had to make a pretty quick improvement. And like I said, we use Fantasy Grounds as our virtual tabletop of choice. And, well, I think when you see the ship combat, you'll see how cool and easy it makes. So that, again, I really like that kind of feature. We've got 2 minutes before Ghosts of Saltmarsh officially kicks off. So if you've got one last question, now's the time to drop it in. Let's have a look and see if there is anything else coming through. Otherwise, sit back, relax, unwind, prepare yourself as we're going to go into this session. Let's see if I can get the players into the combat, and let's see if I can get them into a naval combat and out of it and arriving at the pit of Golgur. All right, no more questions. So in that case, I'm going to shut up and we're going to go straight into the Ghosts of Saltmarsh.
We fought them in the air, on land, and under the waves. But it wasn't enough. Brave folk banded together, united in hope and allied in goal. But it wasn't enough. The black tide brought with it an evil of terrible power. Darkness sank into the hearts of us all. For we knew, as above in the skies we lost, so on land we'd lose. And our only hope was below. But it wasn't enough. Forces unknown to us were at work, and in those dark days it found purchase wherever it touched. For our best wasn't enough. And yet, a single light burns in the dark night, and it might be enough.
Hello and welcome to the Ghosts of Saltmarsh. We are all present and accounted for, and I need to close this window over here because otherwise I'm going to get distracted by all you lovely people. We are ready to delve into the depths of the dark seas, perhaps. I'm joined by my lovely, lovely players who need no introduction, but we're going to give it anyway because it always makes them happy. Joining us all the way from Australia is Michael. Hello, Michael.
G'day, guy. How's it going?
Great, thank you. And you, sir?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Michael, and I am the Dead Aussie Gamer, and I play the role of Jaggerjaw, the Sharkan Ranger bosun for the crew of the Second Chance. He's really kind of more scary on the outside, being a big shark-like person, but on the inside, he's a big old softy who would still pretty much eat anything that moves in front of him on a bad day. So yeah, I'm pretty keen for today. I'm looking forward to the adventure. I've actually also realized that Jaggerjaw hasn't eaten anything substantial for a couple of days now, so that's a thing, and we'll see how that goes.
There we go. So, Jenny, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good. I'm hyped. I'm ready to go. I'm just rearing. I want to go. I want to pee. Let's go.
Okay, there we are. Jenny playing Captain Salt.
Yes.
Kaora, how are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. Yep. Hi, I play Flick. That's it. End of intro. Carry on.
I wonder if that's how he's going to be during the rest of the show. That would be exciting.
No.
Janet, how are you in the UK?
I'm doing great. My husband went to Germany to hang out with the amazing World Anvil community, and he left me here by myself. So I've turned the house into a banana, and I'm driving it to China. Because apparently that's awesome, and I want to do it. Yeah, I play Lahuna. I am also run World Anvil, and I'm really happy to be here. And I'm hoping not to meet my mother.
Yes, well, we'll see about that one. Speaking of Germany, wie geht's, Mari?
Sehr gut, vielen Dank. Hi, I'm Myri. I'm German and I'm in Germany, but I'm not where Janet's husband is because it didn't work out. Otherwise, I might have been at the World Anvil meeting. I play Indigo Diomedea, who is the surgeon of the ship because I think no one else knew how to classify her. She can heal, but mostly she's just intense and a bit weird and a sea elf and different than the other kids on board.
That's it. And you are all in the realm of the Lizardfolk. But before we get there, a word from the people who have made this show entirely possible. And that is World Anvil. WorldAnvil.com is our amazing sponsor. They are collecting all the character sheets. You can go and check out the character sheets and have a look at that. We've got Dungeon Fog. Dungeon Fog is going to has created all of the maps that you have seen and will be seeing in today's show. And of course, we've got Fantasy Grounds. Fantasy Grounds providing us with the virtual tabletop of choice, which hopefully will be put through its paces today, as who knows what might happen. Who knows what might happen. Now, Mama Saduq's treasure is available for you to find, bearing in mind you can win things like the PHB, the DMG, the Monsters Manual, and an awesome pack, as well as the wonderful illuminated cover of the Ghosts of Saltmarsh book itself from Wizards, as well as gifts from World and Dungeon Fog, Nerdarchy, Fantasy Grounds themselves, and you might also snag yourself a copy of the homebrew rules that I have been using in the game so far. So have a look at that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a cryptic clue down there. Let me get myself into shot there. It's a cryptic clue that I've been playing through the last couple episodes. You can catch them all on Dungeons & Dragons YouTube. If you head over to YouTube D&D, you will find all of the episodes. You can get all of the clues from those episodes, so go and have a look. I think that's pretty much it. Enough of that now. I think I've introduced everybody and said hello to everybody, and hello to you, the viewer at home. There we go. We haven't said hello to you. I know we're being joined by people from all over the world. Welcome, wherever you happen to be tuning in from. Okay. Oh, hello, Pinky. All right. I am, of course, here in the US, joined by our very own OBS Goblin. So hopefully we will not have any more technical issues. Ha ha. Cast your minds back. You are all in the dark caves of the Lizardfolk Queen's capital of Qualtax. The Queen has just tasked you with finding the final item of the Kantra Aha, this mystical ancient artifact constructed out of bone, which seems to allow you to see the dead and necromantic magic in action. The Queen has also told you that the only person who may be able to provide assistance with finding the last component of this sacred artifact and determining exactly what it does is Gadra the Ancient, who can be found, hopefully, in the pit of Golgur, the deep, deep aquatic pit that is said to have no bottom. It is simply a void into the netherworlds, supposedly. Once she said that to you, however, you are all welcome to rest up, and she will inquire as to what are your plans. We can take you back to Saltmarsh, if you would so like.
Probably a good idea, considering that's where the ship is.
Oh, yes. The ship.
Grab.
In that case, do not think that it is a burden for us. We will immediately organize a canoe to return you back to your beloved city.
Just an idea, Captain, says Laguna, moving close to Victor Salt and talking in his ear. What if they took us directly to the pit of Golgur? And then we didn't have to deal with Gellern Primewater, who kind of wants to blow everything up and is really mean, and I don't like him very much.
Nobody likes him, all right? Sure, I mean, but we kind of need the ship back at some point, because otherwise, what are we doing?
What, these guys have ships?
Are you suggesting we join their army?
I'm suggesting we get them to take us to the pit of Golgur. Because I don't want to go back to Saltmarsh.
Ever.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's count, shall we?
All right.
Last time we were there, Gellern tried to get the thing blown up.
I get it. I know. Gellern has the ship and he wants to murder all of us. I know. But what about after this? Then what do we do? Do we just settle down in a town somewhere? I need my ship.
Well, we'll get the ship. But if we get the extra bit of the Aha monument, you know, with the scapulars and the Aha, if we get it, then we can also do the fighting of the black smoke thing better.
And what about the crew? Are we going to leave them in Saltmarsh?
Exactly. Look, there's quite a few people here that rely on me to fix this.
If you want to go back,
Saltmarsh is on the way to the pit. That's all I'm saying.
That's absolutely fine. You're the captain. My job is to suggest all the possible plans, and your job
I
is to choose the
appreciate
plan.
that, but I want to get my ship.
Then we get your ship.
Though I completely agree with the first mate, Captain. I think as soon as we get the crew in the ship, we put the sail to the boat and sail as far away from that cursed place as we can.
Yeah, no, we're not going back once that's taken care of. I understand that. I'm not interested in making it a summer holiday place or anything. I just want the ship back.
Lahuna puts her arm around Victor's shoulder. She has to reach up, of course. And she says, all right, Captain, let's go get ourselves a second chance. Blam, blam, blam.
All right. That's okay. Okay, go away. No more hugging.
The Queen has been busy dealing with other delegates whilst you have had your little debate. And she looks back to yes, Flick?
Can I hide a Ghost in a throne?
You want to hide Ghost in her throne. She does have two very large Lizardfolk warriors on either side of her throne.
Okay, I cast invisibility.
You cast invisibility.
And I'm going to go and hide Ghost in her throne.
Give me... Where are you standing whilst you are casting this invisibility?
Just in the middle of the room, I suppose.
In the middle of the room?
You do realize they know what magic looks like. They know what a mage is.
Yes, they're lizard folk, not troglodytes. All right, well, that's what you cast. The moment you vanish, there is... I'm just going to make some perception checks here, because there are people who are paid to watch out for the Queen. No. There we go, that'll work.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
The moment you vanish, one of the guards steps forward with their spear raised. And you speak Draconic, so you understand what he says. But he growls low, "My queen, the little one has vanished under magic."
I dispel invisibility and sigh heavily.
The
Flick,
Queen
what are you
looks
doing?
at you.
Flake?
Huh? Yeah?
We're gonna have a discussion about this later? I'm terribly sorry about that, Your Majesty. He just does things sometimes. We
Just
can't
testing
really-
it out.
Yeah, just Flick.
It is sometimes wise to know one's limitations, such as the fact that whatever it was that you were doing, you were seen.
Oh, I was going to leave you a present.
Indigo looks at him in slight panic. What kind of present? Not
you
one
like a
from the
coconut?
You
barrels?
hold
coconut.
up the coconut.
Oh. Ghost. I wouldn't say
What?
that is a present.
What is it? She says, looking at it.
It's
It contains a tiny soul.
You would give me the phylactery of a dead one?
Yeah.
Might I know as to whom it is contained within this?
Oh, I never figured it out.
She looks to one of her guards and nods. He comes over, he picks it up with his sort of claws and looks at it. I will confess, I am not accustomed to the dealings of your particular kind, my blue friend.
Yeah, not many are.
And so we will accept this in the intention in which it was given, as a gift. Captain Salt, when do you and your crew wish to disembark?
I think it's probably best if we do it as soon as possible, Your Majesty. Although if I may, I'd like a word with you before we leave. in relative private. I sort of throw a semi-discreet glance sort of towards the rest of my crew.
So be it. You will depart immediately. She
Thank you.
nods to one of the Lizardfolk guards at the main entrance, and he stamps his staff quite loudly on the ground. And from somewhere there is this low, almost blast of a horn, and the Locanths and the Goliaths all start to file out. All of the Lizardfolk start to file out. The two guards on either side of the Queen step forward and look specifically at you, Flick. And then they look at Jaggerjaw and Lahuna and Indigo, and you get the sense that they are trying to usher you out.
It's all right. I'll be right there. I just need to.
Please
I'll join you in
follow.
a bit.
You sure, Victor?
I'm sure I'll join you in a minute.
All right.
This is one of the cases where humans are not literal. It's going to take half an hour, right?
A few minutes, maybe.
Oh,
Hopefully.
fine.
Come on, you gorgeous lot. You know what we haven't done in ages? We haven't done karaoke. I put my arms around Jaggerjaw and Indigo, and I start to kind of like usher them out. In a
Hey,
kind
Astro
of-
Captain, if you need my advice.
You know, I was thinking that we should sing.
They all depart, the doors close, and the Queen, she seems to relax a little bit more, and then she looks up at you, Salt. You wanted a
appreciate-
moment, Captain.
Yes, thank you. I wasn't quite expecting you to send the guards off too. I appreciate the trust.
We must trust one another if we are to work together in this alliance.
I appreciate that. I realize that what I'm about to ask you is a little odd, and it's not easy for me to ask, believe me. My crew and ship is back in Saltmarsh, and there's a man there who is trying to take her from me and take my crew away. He's not a very nice person. And the ship I can probably steal away with, but the crew, if I'm to have any kind of chance of getting them to join back with me again, I need to be able to pay them. Monthly payments are coming up since we spent quite some time on the ocean right now, and I spent my last 15 gold buying them food. So if I could loan or some kind of advance would be very useful right now.
It is a very humbling act when one must ask for charity.
Yes, I agree.
And it takes a great leader to be able to present themselves in such a situation for the benefit of others.
I wouldn't say I'm a great leader, but I'm just trying to look out for my people.
That is all that any of us can do. I will make arrangements for a small payment to be aboard the ship that will take you back to the city of Saltmarsh. I hope it will be sufficient to cover whatever costs you might incur and whatever costs your noble crew might have.
I truly, truly appreciate that. I really hope that your issues here get resolved. I mean,
They
But
are
you're not-
all of our issues, Captain Salt.
of course, I just meant your internal politics, your vizier, or
I
Is he all right, by the
suspect that
way?
now that they have been defeated, they will be silent for quite some time before they start their isolationist views once again.
oh, good luck. I mean, not that you need it, but I mean, he's alive, by the way, right? The vizier, we didn't kill him. He seemed a little.
He is alive for now, yes.
All right, good. Thank you. Thank you again.
She seems to press the side of her throne, and the door swings open, The guards come in and then politely escort you out. As you get to the main door, she says, "One more thing, Captain Salt.
Yes.
That little blue seabold that you have in your service.
Yes.
I am not entirely sure how his people operate. But there is something in that creature which you need to be aware of.
More than the usual stuff, Your Majesty?
Some races will not take kindly to antics.
No, the antics I know about. I'm going to try to talk to him about it. He's not easy to control. I apologize.
There is no need to apologize. That is perhaps the nature of his people, and we must embrace differences wherever we find them. It is with a smile upon my face with which I will say adieu to you and your little gesture, and bid you safe seas, Captain.
Thank you.
You are escorted out to the rest of your crew, who have been taken out of the cave system and are now standing on those very muggy docks. There is orders being shouted to one of the large war galleys that it is to make ready for a week's voyage. Frantically, you can see cargo being loaded onto this magnificently large war canoe. Not the same one you came in on. This one's got a different sculpt. It looks like a possibly deranged platypus with giant sharpened teeth carved into its wooden structure. Fearsome and terrifying nonetheless. A captain walks up to you, bows lowly, as is, he thinks is appropriate, and he says, "Renato Boneweaver at your service, Captain."
Victor Salt. Hi.
We will be ready to depart within the hour.
All right, good. The rest of you, are you all done here?
There's still an hour for sightseeing, right?
Well,
I'd like to go on the ship as soon as possible. She's beautiful.
Oh, what's that? You need a hand lifting something? Oh, sorry, Luna. I'll be right back. Don't worry. No, lift with your legs, mate. And I'm just gonna run on board and.
You're on board, Lahuna. Indigo, you head on board. Salt.
I'm gonna sort of wait around on the docks. If anybody tries to run off anywhere, sort of keeping an eye on Flick.
Lahuna, you wanted to sort of look around a little bit. You realize that because it is fairly late at night, almost all of the vendors and things have shut shop, and there are a few lizard folk here and there. There seems to be a tavern that's open. You can hear the sounds of possibly singing going on, but it's either singing or something is dying very slowly. I'm not entirely sure.
Oh yeah, I know that
To
song.
lose her.
Yeah. Flick, you gonna go with her? Or are you staying? What are you're awfully quiet.
Worryingly so.
I will try. Can I sneak away from? Can I purposely try and sneak away from?
I am
Being watched
watching.
by the captain, so you're gonna have to give me a stealth check. And only because there's so much confusion on the docks as cargo is frantically being loaded up. Give me a perception check there, Captain Salt, if you please.
Sir. Nope.
You know, one crate gets dropped and your attention drifts to the crate. And when it comes back, that little blue bastard has buggered off. For the alliteration purposes only.
I sort of walk. I'm going to walk around in the area, sort of see if I can see him
All right.
for a while. Pace
Yeah,
angrily.
Sadly, you don't catch sight of him. Flick,
No.
where are you heading?
I'm just following Lahuna.
All right, Lahuna, where are you heading?
I'm going into the tavern.
All right. You step into the tavern, and it seems to be a mix, mostly lizard folk. There are one or two very large orcs sitting at a table, drinking away, oblivious to everybody else. It looks like there's a halfling, but he's completely covered in feathers, sort of yellowy blue feathers, and he is currently playing a tune on a set of, it looks like double bagged bagpipes. He sort of squeezes the one under one arm, he squeezes the other under the other arm as he's busy playing the flute in the center. It does create the sound of a flock of geese being harassed by a flock of ducks, but it certainly seems to be providing the rest of the patrons, who are all lizard folk, with some kind of background noise.
I'm just there to be personable and have fun. I'm not there to cause trouble. I just go sit at the bar, watch this amazing halfling undulate under the power of bagpipes.
Right. Okay, that's what you're busy doing. Flick?
I'm just gonna go up and sit next to Lahuna
All
and
right.
act as if I was just always there.
Okay.
All right.
Flick, how are you doing?
Oh, hello.
I put my arm around him. How are you, my friend? I haven't seen you for so long. Not properly seen you.
Yeah. Oh, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, but do you know what? I've been meaning to talk to you because I never see you at karaoke, and it makes me really sad.
Yes. Yes. I do love to sing.
Well, I'm sure you do, because you've got a beautiful voice. So, tell me about yourself, Flick. What brought you to a life on the sea? There's that beautiful voice again.
I was born in the sea.
Yeah, but now we're spending our time on top of it. I mean, it's a bit weird, right? All this, like, splashing around in the air and stuff.
What? Yes. Right. Okay. I need a drink.
All right, as Lahuna's interrogation continues, the two of you whittle away the last 40 minutes or so before there's a call and a loud gong which sounds that the warship is ready to depart. Those of you who are already on the warship, it's just business as usual as they load up all the cargo and get everything ready. They've created some hammocks specifically for the 5 of you, which they have suspended. There's a bit of a roof over the top as well, which is quite nice, very different to the last one, which was much more rudimentary. Yes, when the gong sounds, the oars get pushed out and the 100 green backs of the lizard folk start to strain as the oars pull against the murky water, and you sail out into one of the many channels that feeds into the Akawe swamps. You have been sailing for about 3 or 4 hours, perhaps, before sleep demands your attentions, unless you're going to try and stay awake. You were involved in that battle previously, if you recall. Anyone doing anything as the ship makes its way out of the Akawe swamps? You have got 7 days before Saltmarsh comes into the horizon, but first night, doing anything specific?
The Queen's money. I want to find it and figure out how much it is.
Give me the money! Says
I just want to know if I can pay everyone this month, okay?
All right. You go up to Captain Boneweaver and very discreetly ask him if there was a vast sum of money placed on the ship for you at all. And he nods. Indeed, the Queen has granted me this small gift to bestow upon you and your crew.
Thank you. I truly appreciate this.
It looks like he hands you a rather square-shaped cadaver or corpse. Possibly this was a crocodile, but it's been bloated up and turned into a square-shaped thing with the top of its head forming the lid. It does look quite dead and quite old. There are 2 rather impressive-looking emeralds in the eye sockets of this particular crocodile.
I open it.
As you open it up, within you can see 5 very neatly arranged eggs on a bed of possibly straw.
Uh-huh.
You see this, Flick? The eggs themselves are slightly red in colour. They do seem to have flecks shot through of, is it perhaps yellow? It's difficult to tell in the moonlight as the ship is starting to make its way down the channel.
I'm sorry, Captain. I'm a little confused. Eggs?
Indeed. A true and valuable gift.
I'm sorry. I'm not very good at eggs. What are these?
These eggs, he says, looking at them, I will give you 1,000 gold each if you would sell them to me.
Hi, Flick.
Hi.
What? I mean, I'm perfectly willing to sell them. I'd just like to know what they are.
He smiles. Jaggerjaw, you now looking at these eggs as well. I can see everyone sort of peeking. Wait, what? What eggs? What?
He saw Flick it up and he followed, kind of thing.
Yeah. Looking at these eggs, Jaggerjaw, you realize, hang on a second, those look like the eggs of a particularly large type of manta ray. The type that the Sahaugen used to ride into battle upon. And if you could take these eggs and gestate them until they are ready to hatch, or incubate them, I should say, until they're ready to hatch, you could potentially have 5 very large manta rays. It's a long-term investment, but they are considerably valuable. From a cooking perspective, your Nan would probably really like to cook them. She'd probably turn them into a nice little omelette worth about 3 copper pieces. But Nami would probably flip his nut, as this would be the most expensive dish he has ever cooked.
So, relative to that, 1,000 gold each in terms of what's being offered, is this guy lowballing us, or are we talking like a reasonable fair
So here's
trade?
the challenge. If you could find a couple of Sahaugen who are currently particularly militant, you could probably sell them for 4 times that each.
I'll sort of look over to the captain and sort of try to gain some attention. But then
you got it.
Then,
it's hard not to
a
give
giant
you
shark man.
well, I'm not. Yeah, that's true. It's not being subtle at all. But Jagsy will sort of like. Okay, I'm gonna need to actually stand for this. So he's gonna like sort of twist to his side, and then you're gonna see his hand as he's gonna go. And try and get it out of the view of the lizard man, but still in the view of the captain.
He's focused on the eggs. He doesn't see it.
Well, 1,000 each, you said?
Yes.
Be happy to sell you one of them. That's, I'm afraid that's all I need right now.
Understandable. I would graciously accept the offer.
Yeah, no, I hold out my hand. No, I spit in it and I hold it out. Sorry, human trading agreements. We don't have to do that. That's fine.
Humans are disgusting.
Very well. We have a deal.
Yes.
Leaking fluids all willy-nilly.
He
Yes.
goes. He goes to the back of the vessel, and you can see he opens up a hatch, and he jumps down into the bottom of this hatch. You hear a splashing sound because he definitely lands in some kind of liquid or other. And a few moments later, he re-emerges with this brown piece of looks like skin, tanned hide of some kind. He opens it up, and inside is this very large, very, 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 very green emerald.
Oh.
of worth, he says, offering it to you.
Do I know if that's sort of equivalent?
Yeah, you look at it and you reckon it's worth easily 1,000, maybe 1,100 if you cut it up.
Yeah. I've dealt with a lot of gems in my days. That's I'd have to find someone to sell that to be able to pay my crew. But I mean, yeah, sure, deal.
He takes the egg that you offer him and he clutches it quite preciously and then nods and then disappears back down into his hatch for a while.
Jagsy, what was that? What is this?
Oh, Captain, these are war ray eggs. Yeah, those filthy Sahajin bastards known to ride these things. Get pretty massive, very fierce, very loyal.
Yeah, no, I've seen those in action.
Well, yeah, this is a big clutch of them. So, yeah, worth quite a bit. But trying to find people willing to spend that much time in the water is a bit tricky, though.
Oh, I think Luna would be happy to have one of those, I'm sure.
Or Cookie, just saying. I mean, not any pressure, Captain, but, you know.
Are you intending me? Are you saying that I should give someone 1,000 gold egg to cook?
Look, I mean, have you ever eaten a... yes, 1,000 gold egg. That's what it is.
I've never eaten a meal that costs over 1,000 gold, no.
Well, it's actually, to be honest, Captain, it's probably closer to about 2,500, 4,000, but
right.
Each.
I've eaten a 50 gold meal once, but not that much. Look, let's just go to bed and we'll... Flick, you're not gonna do anything with these, are you?
With these? No.
That was a terrifying way of saying that, Flick. You realize that, right?
No?
All right, look. Do you know how lucky you are to be alive right now? You're really lucky that the Queen has a sense of humor, because if we meet someone who doesn't like your antics... Yeah. Do you want to...
Oh, no, I meant we blow them up.
No, Flick. We're not in a position... We are not in a position of power in a lot of situations, Flick. And if you're caught doing something terrible, I won't be able to protect you.
I turn invisible again.
I grab the eggs.
No, I don't turn invisible. Sorry.
I still grab the eggs.
Yes, so you take care of those for me, Jags. Just don't eat them, please.
All right.
Aye, Captain.
Well, the night starts to pass as the late watchmen start to take up their posts to look out for any wandering giants and crocodiles. Yes, Lahuna, I'm going to go to you first.
Lahuna's been thinking, the wheel's been turning in her head really slowly.
Slowly,
and
okay.
She goes up to Jagsy, she sort of tugs his sleeve, and she goes,
I wasn't going to eat it! What? Oh, hi.
Jagsy... You know how you're like really smart and you know loads of stuff?
Yep.
How do you incubate one of those babies? Just curious.
With my previous knowledge, do I have any rudimentary understanding of the incubation
you basically submerge them in very, very deep, very cold water. The pressure and the cold water will cause them to hatch. As soon as they hatch, they will bond with the first thing that they see, and will basically treat it as their school leader that they will follow and do with as they so will. You're looking at submerge them at about 1,000 foot or deeper in the oceans.
For how long?
Generally speaking, it's about 6 to 7 years.
Oh, that's really long.
Depending on whose timescale you're looking at. As far as the aquatic elf is concerned, it's a couple weeks.
If it's if you incubate them deeper, does that shorten the length of time?
No, not particularly. And you take them too deep, they just go
Happens to mermaids too.
Yeah, does. It's true.
True story.
Yes, so unfortunately there doesn't seem to be a faster way to do it. Yes, well, Flick had his hand up first. Yes, Flick, what are you doing?
I want to go over to my Indigo
Yes.
during the night. Do you want to do something before the night falls?
Indigo.
Yeah, my very important question was: we're in a jungle.
Swamp,
Are there
yes.
sloths?
Are there sloths?
Indigo is trying to collect shapes for shape-shifting.
Oh, I see. Okay, give me a nature check if you please, as a matter of fact.
Sure.
Give me a nature check. I like that.
What would that help with?
Just life in general, Michael. Just
Okay, I mean, I guess.
All right.
my depression for sure.
Roll
Got
me a
one of the
d10. If you roll a 1, you see a sloth.
Come on,
That's a bit of a stretch. No, unfortunately you don't see a sloth. What you do see are lots and lots of crocodiles swimming around, looking all vicious and mean. You see a lot of...
That's no use. I can't turn into anything that has a swimming speed yet.
Aha! You see a lot of tortoises. Tortoises don't have a swimming speed. Milling around on the banks. You do see some rather curious-looking furry, like... they almost look like long-legged rat kangaroo type of things. They stand about 3 foot tall and they sort of hop around. Every now and again, one of them sort of hops into the wrong place, and you just see jaws snapping shut and the squeak and a shout.
Poor wallaby.
That sort of happens. Then there are insects galore. There are plenty of snakes slithering in and out of the waters and around the reeds and things, as horrid as they might be. Crabs and the like, but unfortunately, nary a sloth to be seen.
Damn. Indigo turns into one of these funny little furry creatures. So now there's probably a lemur, I guess.
Sure,
Sitting.
lemur's a pretty close approximation. You are now a lemur.
Hanging from where her hammock is also slung. It's just so if
I'm just going to
for
sleep.
Indigo he
I'm
finds this
I'm
thing.
done.
There we go.
Can I see this?
Yes. Oh, yes. Everyone can see it.
I run over to her and I fluff her chubby little rataroo cheeks and I'm like, you're the cutest little thing!
Whilst cuteness is happening, Flick is happening.
I wait until night has fallen and everybody seems to be going to bed. Everyone's sort of like,
Yes.
settled down. Now I'm going to go over to Indigo.
Apart from the sentries that are on duty, who've been
That's
paid to
fine.
watch.
I'm going to go over to Indigo. I'm just going to...
Indigo, are you still awake? Indigo.
I poke the lemur.
I can't keep. I only keep it up for an hour. So
Oh, okay. So yeah, you're probably...
if you wait until everyone's asleep, I'm back to being Indigo.
I'm going to keep poking you until you kind of respond.
Her hand comes up and slowly grabs your poking finger. What is it, little dragon?
I need your help.
With what?
I want to plan a heist.
A what?
A heist.
What is that?
Well, we're going to steal the egg back that the captain got.
No, we are not.
But we could.
We be what?
We could steal it back.
Yes, but we will not.
Why?
Because it is not right.
Why?
There was an agreement made. The Eostra captain and Bone Weaver agreed and they exchanged things, and now it is done. It is the proper way to do things. If you take the egg back, we will also have to give back the stone. You understand? You don't understand. Then listen to me, Flick. if you steal the egg back, we're all on this ship. And even if you and Lahuna and Jaggerjaw the Ever Hungry and me can just jump overboard, Eostra Captain cannot. And all these lizards will be very angry.
Well, the plan was that we were going to steal it just as we got to Saltmarsh.
Don't you think we have enough trouble waiting for us in Saltmarsh?
I mean, there's trouble everywhere.
Everywhere you are, that is true.
Yeah, I suppose so. Okay, bad idea?
Bad idea. Yes, truly bad idea.
Okay.
Now get out of it, Flick.
I leave Indigo alone. How far away is how far away is Lahuna?
Not very far away. All the hammocks and things were set up quite nearby.
I wait a little bit longer until Indigo seems to be sleeping again, and then I go over to Lahuna.
Indigo fakes sleeping.
As you get closer to Lahuna, you realize that she's singing in her sleep.
Oh.
Oh.
Lahuna Matata.
That should earn an inspiration point, I wanted to say. I put my vote for that.
Everyone can have an inspiration point because, no worries.
Oh, so sweet. Oh, it's fine. It's a bad idea. All right.
I go to bed.
The sun dawns on a remarkably peaceful Loxodontal ship which sails ever southward. The humidity has already started to become less as the jungle has receded, and now it is just the open marsh plain of the river delta itself. It is at that point that all of you can make perception checks, if you so please.
Ooh.
Natural 20.
Ooh.
Hey. We have our natural 20. Indigo, you hear it before everyone else, although Jaggers, you're not too far behind on that one. All that you hear is, "But I can't swim," drifting out over the water from somewhere, followed immediately by, "And don't think I'm getting into that water." And then another voice saying, "We're stuck. Get out and bloody well push." The lizard folk all seem to be responding, but you get attacked first. What are you doing, Indigo?
I lean overboard and I'm trying to make out where these voices come from.
All right.
This is not what lemurs sound like.
No, lemurs distinctly don't sound like that. You see through a large collection of bulrushes and reeds as the ship is still being pushed forward on the oars. Between this gap, there is decidedly it's a big human being, which I think you've seen before on the docks following Flick around, and you walked out of the city hall with. You think his name's a lad. He's currently standing knee-deep in this brown mud. There is a very angry gnome wielding a rather large frying pan at the front of the ship, and he seems to be looking out over the water. He hasn't seen you at all. And sitting at the back, looking very pompous, is this rather snotty human that you haven't seen before.
Flick!
Yes?
Your human is here!
What? Where?
Up there! Your pet human!
Hello?
Everyone is now aware of what's going on. The lizard folk immediately grab spears and shields. The captain...
No.
You know these individuals?
Yes.
It belongs to him.
Mm-hmm.
He tamed it.
He's my human.
That's my chef.
Oh, the gnome doesn't belong to anyone. No.
And who's that guy? That's
I don't know.
You recognize him, Salt.
Oh.
This individual, without a shadow of a doubt, must be the one known as... sorry, where's the name here? Known as Furlan Held, a rather snotty little lackey of Prime Waters.
Okay.
The moment Alad and Nami hear you lot, they start looking around, and the lad's like, "Oh, hello, Flick.
Hello. What the?
Do you know where you've been taken prisoner to?" What do you mean? They are obviously not prisoners, huh? "We are over here. Come and save me," says the chef.
Jaggerjaw will go to the back of the ship. He'll sort of put the eggs down, like just kind of along the back. He'll then sort of jump into the water with both hands firmly on the back of the ship, and just start power kicking, and then just sort of steer with brute force.
You're trying to do that to the ship they're in, the little rowing boat that they're in.
No, our one.
Your one is 190 foot long and weighs nearly 3,000 tons.
I will go and get their ship.
There you go. There you go. They have 100 oarsmen to move their ship forward. Apologies, I should have
in
been
my head,
clearer
I
on
viewed
that.
that very differently. Yeah,
Yes.
I'll go get them. I'll leave the anchor behind. I feel like I don't need it right now.
Right.
So I'll pop that down.
Yes.
Only holding you down.
It's it's all right, Captain. I know these people. I've no idea why they're here, but I know them.
All right. Jaggerjaw starts swimming out towards them. Anyone else doing anything while Jags gets to them?
Tying bits to his anchor.
You're tying bits to his anchor. What bits?
Anything I can find.
I'm gonna go.
All right.
I'm gonna go take care of the eggs so that one of us has them.
Has them at all
Yeah,
times.
that was Indigo's thought too. So
Oh yeah, yeah, you can take it.
You're both.
when the
yes.
Astra captain goes over to them, Indigo goes next to them, and then hunkers down and slithers forward as a snake, and then circles the eggs.
Oh. So then I'm gonna sort of lean out and shout to the people, Mr. Lahir, what are you doing here?
They see Jagsy approaching. A lad sort of just picks up the rowing boat and starts trying to drag it towards Jagsy, but the water's getting deeper and deeper as he walks towards Jagsy. There's general shouting, and the massive war canoe that you're in has come to a stop. The oars have all churned counter as the captain has deduced that you obviously own these individuals. They are starting to release ropes and things. There is a sudden massive collective cry from the warriors on the sides of the ship, and they all stand pulling their spears back. It looks as if they're going to pepper Jagsy with about 50 or so spears. They release the spears. The spears plunge into the water around you, Jagsy, and 3 very large crocodiles float up, belly up next to you, spears having stuck through them. The captain looks at you, Salt. Why did he leap into the waters?
I don't. He doesn't really think about things very hard, and he's very confident. Thank you.
Captain, we got lunch.
Yes, good. Just please get into the boat.
Neither does the other one, as the lad is now walking towards the point where he's starting to submerge under the water.
Lad, please get into the boat.
There's general chaos. Eventually, Jagsy, you get to this rowing boat, and everyone's sort of hoisted up and held. The boat itself, this is one of the rowing boats from the Second Chance.
Oh, is it the last chance?
I have no idea what your rowing boats are. Maybe this is the last
we
chance.
named our lifeboat the Last Chance.
All right. So the last chance, yes, it definitely is the last chance.
Yay!
You manage to drag it back to the war canoe, and then all of the warriors look at it. They lower ropes and things down to you. Yep.
I also want to grab a couple of the crocs as well.
You drag a few of the speared crocodiles through the water. One of them has already been mauled by some other crocodiles in the general vicinity. But yes, you get 2 crocodiles, and the last chance is now tied to the side of the galley that you are in. Ferlin looks rather unhappy with the whole thing and doesn't acknowledge the fact that he has been saved at all. Salt, what are you doing on the ship, and why are these savage creatures not attacking us? I don't understand.
Held. What are you doing in my lifeboat? And why is this lifeboat in this swamp?
We came to find out what happened to you. Only it appears that Primordial was wrong. He thought you'd been abducted by Lizardfolk. Clearly,
Well, we
you
were,
had simply
but we were-
absconded like you did
No,
before.
we were abducted, but we worked it out.
Oh, that's very convenient. I'm sure Gellin will like that. Well,
Look, I'm in a position in my life where I don't care what Gellin thinks anymore.
well, that's certainly very obvious. It's also a position of your life where you wanted to end quite quickly, I'm sure.
How many of his people are on my ship? Where is my ship?
It's not your ship, it's Primal.
Where is the
ship.
second chance?
You will take me back to the second chance.
Where is it?
But before you do that, I want your assurance you're not going to try and take it back. I realise now Gellin's more of a fool than we thought. I want that deal made, Salt. Me
I
and the
turned
boys.
to Lahir and said, "Sir, where is my ship?"
Captain,
Yes.
it is with great pride and honor that I am happy to report the second chance is at the mouth of the Delta, he says as he looks at Ferlin, who snarls at him, traitor.
Thank you, sir. How many of Gellin's people are on this ship?
Don't answer him. You work for Gellin Primewater, remember that, says Ferlin as he looks at
I
Nami.
pull out the giant emerald and I said, "This thing says you work for me again."
But of course I work for you, Captain Salt. I have never not worked for you. I have always been absolutely loyal to the second
I know.
chance, of course.
How many?
There are only 4 other bastards aboard our ship, Captain. The rest
All right.
are all our original crew. It is true, however, Bramwater did send the ship to try and rescue you. We assumed you had all been taken by the Lizardfolk. There was a body found in the abandoned mansion where we knew you had gone to. It was Lizard. It had clearly been anchored by a certain brave big warrior over there, I see. Haha, Shakan, hello, Jaxie. How are you?
Okay.
Yes, I have a sandwich with your name on it. We just need to get back to the second chance, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. Well, thank you. Is
Oh,
everyone all right?
You
Is everyone-
understand that if you do not report
I
back
punch him in the face.
you punch him in the face.
Punch him in the face.
Make an attack roll, you have advantage.
Thank you. Oh goodness. Oh goodness. Oh gosh. How does it work? I'm proficient, I suppose.
Just roll a d20, add your strength check and your proficiency, yes.
So just regular attack. Yeah.
But you have advantage.
Yeah, I'm just gonna roll that.
Wow, double 2.
What? Oh no!
Rolling tutus.
As you are about to do that, as you swing
Can I
at
use my
him,
inspiration to
as
redo
you
that?
swing at him, you can if you want to, but it is an inspiration burn on just punching this person in the face.
No, listen, let it go.
All
Let
right.
it go.
I want everybody else to please give me an initiative roll, just very, very quickly.
I'm
Gotta beat
a snake.
18.
I
Just
don't know what my
roll
initiative is.
Ah,
Nope. Flick, it's no, not enough.
Can't believe I got a 2.
Mine's 15 because I get +2.
Yep, 15. Sorry, Flick. Got to beat my 18. There's a natural 20. Oh,
Nice.
Wait, I just rolled a dice. How do I roll it?
Kraken pot.
you'll see on your character sheet, front page, there's a thing called int in the middle of it. Initiative, or init, I suppose it would be.
Oh,
Just
yes.
double click on that. Yeah.
Found it, sorry.
There you go. All right. Nope. So, Indigo, you're the only one who can act before this individual acts. He seems to have something up his sleeve, which he appears to be reaching for to punch Salt back. You are currently an asp.
I am an asp.
Yes, you are a snake.
Then I'm going to use my action to shapeshift from an asp into a brown bear and yell at him in my brown bear voice as loudly as I can, and try to intimidate him to not stab my captain.
You can make an intimidate check with triple advantage, as far as I'm concerned. You don't get such a thing, but yes, you have advantage on your intimidation roll as this giant bear suddenly appears out of nowhere.
Intimidation. And I needed
17.
that one.
There you go. And he just takes one look at this bear and drops his hands down, and a knife slides out of his sleeve and lands on the deck next to him. All right. Well, then I suppose...
You want a job?
Yes.
Good.
What would you like me to do, Captain O'Captain?
Well, we can start off by having a conversation about who exactly is on my ship.
Absolutely. It's Wiry Ann the dwarf. It's Black Sand. It's Spike and Revik. You know them to be...
He's still alive. I really thought he would have been killed by now.
Surprisingly enough, he is, yeah. Cunning little devil that he is. Very hard-working, I suppose you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not going to be able to intimidate them into working for you, I'm afraid, Salt. Best if we just,
No. No, we'll tie them up and have them in the hold. Keep them in the hold if we have to, but I'm not killing anyone.
Well, that's certainly a change for the winds from you. I can see why Gellin was after you. You should know you shouldn't head back to Saltmarsh.
No, I've got that.
Duh.
Yes, not only because of Gellin, but also because of what that Admiral's been doing.
Admiral?
Oh, yes. He's currently locked down the city. Apparently the King's decided to turn it into some kind of naval fortress of some sort.
Oh, yeah, I knew that.
Yes.
If Gellin had been a little bit nicer, I could have warned him about it, but...
Well, needless to say, it's put the town in a rather large upstart. Not too popular as our new Admiral / Lord Mayor, or whatever he's calling himself these days.
Well, Saltmarsh isn't my business anymore. The Pit of Golgur is our current business, actually.
As the captain says that,
yes.
Jagazy is going to take a huge bite situated around the head of this this particular individual.
What?
Make your attack roll with advantage. He did not see that coming. No one else did either.
I mean, my plan was to just cut his throat in the night, but this is a lot more obvious.
Yep. You clamp your jaws over his head, and there's a moment of
Splashed with blood
as he just gets ripped in half. Blood sprays everywhere. Entrails drop as his knees give out, and he falls to the deck.
Jagajo, she just murdered him. You have crocodiles. Why did you do that? I told him we'd let him live.
Wait, he's not going to talk with his mouth full. It's not polite.
Oh,
Yeah, manners are important.
Yeah, manners make us man.
Joycey,
And make
why did you kill him?
That man can be bought out super quick. And last I checked, Yellen has more money than you.
I know.
Well,
I wasn't going to keep him around. I was going to dump him somewhere near a city or something. I didn't want him dead.
Well, now that you've told him that we were heading to the Pit of Golgur, Captain, better to have him sleep with the fishes. Or at least with the fishes that I ate for breakfast this morning.
I'm not happy with this. I just turn around and I go back to my bunk.
Flick is
Please
going
don't
to try
eat
and
me.
rifle through his belongings.
Oh no!
I look over at the lad and say, with like blood still kind of caked around Jagsy's mouth, "Don't worry, mate. I won't eat you. Unless you cross the captain. You won't cross the captain, will ya? Nah, you're a good lad."
I am actually. That's what my dad says. Also, I'm confused, Flick, he says, looking down at you.
Mm-hmm.
You're still on the second chance, but you're also here.
Yes. Have you ever heard of wizards?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Classy little
wizard.
motherfucker. He starts as the captain steps forward. We can resume our course.
I've walked away. I'm back at the bunks. I've walked out.
He's sort of talking. Well, actually, he's not going to talk to Jags or Jaw. He's going to look at you, Lahuna.
Yeah. Our ship is currently at the mouth of this river, as far as we can tell.
We shall find it.
There's 4 people on there that are going to try and keep it from us. I just want to warn you in advance.
You wish us to change that?
Yes. Yes. But some of the people on the ship are good humans. Now, I know that this is a little bit of a problem in the past, so just we'll point out the ones that need evicting. All right?
So be it.
Thank you. You're awesome.
There is a big movement as the oars start up and the drumming to get them back into rhythm starts sounding.
The big brown bear very gingerly sits down next to the eggs.
Luna's dancing to the drum beat.
Boom,
Jagsy will clean up.
Boom. It's not the catchiest of tunes.
She doesn't care. She like the bagpipes with the feathery hobbit.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
she's
true.
she's up for anything.
That's true. That's true.
She's just here to have fun.
I'm on my bunk having a personal crisis.
Right,
Okay.
you're having your personal crisis. The ship doesn't take very long, probably another 2 hours or so before eventually you are alerted, Lahuna. We have sighted your vessel. And there, at the mouth of the great river that leads into the Kawe swamps, is the pristine-looking ship, the Second Chance. Her mast fully restored, her hull of new wood carved, and her sails looking freshly cut and sewn. And moving about aboard her deck, you can see various crew members, some of whom you recognize and some of whom you do not.
Hey, she's had a paint job.
You wish us to ram the vessel so we might disable.
Oh, you
the
bloody well
evil's
better not.
horde?
I think that would not be the best course of action. Let me go get my captain, but let's just X-nay on the ramming, all right? Let's remove ramming from the vocabulary for now. Just
Then a
Hang on.
standard approach.
We, if you have not noticed, are a slightly less than standard crew, and we use slightly less than standard tactics. Just give me one moment, and I will be right back with you, you gorgeous little lizard friends.
Wait.
What's that, Flick?
Well, you know the captain doesn't like killing people.
Yes, that is a mutually held belief.
Yes.
But do go on.
Sometimes these things happen. So, maybe
At this point,
the captain doesn't come on deck.
Jagsy's going to grab Flick. Are we at the where the mouth of the delta now?
Yes, you are at the mouth of the delta, correct. The
I'll-
Second Chance about 100 foot away and rapidly getting closer.
I'll look for crocodiles. Any in the water?
Not
On
okay
a
with
casual
this.
glance around, you notice 14 of them.
D20 of crocodiles.
How far out do they go?
Pretty much in all directions. There's one busy chasing, well, shadowing the boat as you speak. A nice, small little 30-footer.
All right. I'm going to try and create a distraction. I'm going to like kick one of the crocodiles that I brought on board over the edge and like sort of try and chum the waters a little bit.
Sure. One of the crocodiles immediately breaks away as the carcass lands in the water.
Because chum is known to make the water safer.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I'm not sure that's the intent.
all right. Well, yeah, okay, fine. I was going to take Flick and go kill a bunch of people, but I guess we'll just sit here and wait.
What you
Until the
doing?
crocodiles-
This is how we
He-
die,
I-
people.
This is awkward, but how are you, Flick? You doing all right?
Right. Your
Yeah.
breath smells.
Oh, thank you. I do my best to make sure that there's as much viscera and offal in my teeth as possible.
Yes, I can see it.
It's how we attract females.
Oh, that must be lovely.
You should see the Shakan females. Our
Yes.
courtship ritual is really something of distinction. Allow me to tell you in explicit detail. I do this for a while.
Luna, as the explicit details start to roll out of Jagsy's mouth, you wanted to do something?
Lahuna knows about the jellyfishes and the bees. It's fine. She bounces down the stairs. I assume there are stairs to find Captain Salt.
Yes.
He's sitting on a crate with his head in his hands somewhere.
Victor, Vicky, baby,
Don't call me that. What?
what's wrong?
Do I have to explain to you what's wrong?
Maybe.
I'm trying to not get people killed. And someone just died. That was technically, I suppose, either my crew or my prisoner.
It wasn't your crew.
Well, then he was my prisoner, and that's not good either.
He wasn't your prisoner.
How was he not my
You
prisoner?
didn't kill him.
My Jagsy killed him. I'm responsible for that.
You're not responsible for everything Jagsy does. So
No.
we can go talk to Jagsy. Victor, I love you. You know I love you. You're amazing. But you have enough to atone for without taking on other people's sins. Okay?
I just don't. You said, back when we first met, you talked about how there's always another way. And that wasn't the case here, apparently, and that wasn't the case with Sambalette. Now I'm trying to find the other ways, and it's not easy with hungry monsters everywhere.
I understand. Listen, with Sambalette, I didn't see another way out of that. All right? It was I killed him, or they killed all of us.
So it's self-defense, is that what you're saying?
Yes. Of course.
I don't really see how it's self-defense to kill a tied-up man, but
At knife point.
yeah, no, I understand.
Look, we both know that I'm not the best at this. Look, there's a reason they kicked me out of Paladin school, all right? I am not good at this stuff. But I believe that if we try hard, then it's enough. We have to try and be good, and we have to try and be calm and in the storm. We have to try and be the light in the dark, and it's not always easy, and sometimes we will mess it up, but we have to keep trying. But listen, we're there. We're by the second chance, and
All right.
Mr. Rammy, the lizard friend, wants to ram the ship. And
No,
I
just
think
get
we
close
should,
to
yes,
it.
yes,
No,
exactly.
But what?
So why
Quiet.
don't you put on your big boy shoes and go up there and be captain? We will talk about this later, okay?
Right. I'm sorry.
Not-
I-
It's not changing a day, it's changing a lifetime, okay?
I know. I'm sorry. You're right. All right, let's go.
Let's do this.
Let's do this.
Indigo,
ready?
give me a perception check if you please.
Yes, sure.
You are. Everyone's vaguely aware of the chat that's happening with Salt and Lahuna below decks. Jagsy is busy explaining to Flick the intricate details of where you put your fin in the dark. Indigo, you have realized that there are about 30 lizard folk who have very quietly, with spear and shield, slipped over the side of the galley and are currently propelling themselves towards the second chance.
Brown Bear lumbers up to Jagsy. Kind of just...
Oh.
Oof.
Hello? What? I'll look over the edge.
You see 30 very large lizard folk propelling themselves towards the second chance.
That can't be good. Go, Flick! I'm gonna throw Flick.
What?
Stop them, make sure they don't kill everyone. Look, make sure they don't kill everyone, except the people that you know who needs to die, right?
Sure.
Good.
Give me a strength
Deploy,
check.
Flick! Strength check. I can do this. I got reasonable strength. I'm a reasonably strong dude. Uh-oh.
Give me a dexterity saving throw, please, Flick.
Well, I'm going to burn an inspiration point.
You're going to burn an inspiration point?
I'm gonna burn an inspiration
All right, don't
point.
give me a dexterity saving throw yet, Flick.
All right, come on, baby.
Natural 20.
Yeah! That is how you inspiration point.
That is how you inspiration point. You are indeed correct. Flick, you sail through the air, gaining in velocity and height, yes?
As I go woo, and reach the peak,
Yes.
cast Featherfall.
That's great. You cast Featherfall, and slowly your descent starts to lower you down about 30 good feet away from the prow of the large Lizardfolk ship, and a good 60 feet away from the second chance. The green Lizardfolk are still swinging. They have you landed at the tail end of them. You can grab onto the tail of one of them if you so choose, or you can start swimming yourself. You've got a pretty good swim speed.
I grab onto the tail of one of them.
Okay, it's not a problem. They're not particularly focused. As you do, one of them, his head snaps around. He looks at you for a moment, and then continues swimming fast as he can. Salt, you and Lahuna arrive up on deck, and the captain looks at you. There was a delay that was increasing. We have dispatched our warriors. They will not slay anyone on board. Simply expedite the process. I have things to do.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you, Captain. But that is my ship. We just need to sail up to it and go on it.
It's at that point that I would like everybody, except for Flick, to please roll a d20. Do not roll an 11.
Just an 11.
Do not roll an 11. Okay, you are all standing there saying, look, I just need to get on my ship, when this massive ballista bolt impales itself through the captain's chest and drives him flat onto the deck. A second ballista bolt sails into the side of the warship and rips out several pieces of decking. And then you hear the all too tragic sound of thunk as a mangonel has fired from the deck of the second chance. This huge stone is coming down and will...
Rowers, evasive! Get us out of here!
That's
Move!
what you're shouting. Evasive in common. Most of the lizard folk don't have a clue what you're saying. And nonetheless, you're shouting it in a very dramatic way. The mangonel sails through the air, misses the boat completely by a good 20 or 30 yards. What are you doing, Salt?
I'm going to run towards the prow, the front of the ship.
Yes.
And I'm going to just fucking wave at them and say, yell at them, just stop it! Hey! Don't make me come over there!
That's what you're shouting, Luna?
Yes.
Gobsmacked.
How fast are lizard folk?
How fast?
Yeah, with the swimming.
Oh, they're probably going to get there at the end of the round.
Okay. Lahuna pulls out her sword, prays frantically, and it lights up.
It does indeed.
Because I cast the thing that I can't currently find.
Okay.
Luna doesn't know what it's called anyway. She just keeps doing these things by accident. And she waves it in the air and she says, "We're all okay! Stop firing!
All right.
We're fine!"
That's what you're doing, Jagsy?
I'm going to go over to the captain.
Currently shouting threats at the
No,
second
no,
turret.
no, the dead one.
Oh, the one who's
right.
impaled, yes. He lies
Yep.
there, the ballista bolt carved
I'm gonna
straight through.
go into one of his pouches and retrieve the egg.
It's not on
He's
him.
not gonna need it. Oh, isn't it?
No.
Oh, bastard.
You pilfer through his coat, well, his
Yeah.
very
Yeah, I'll-
very loose leathers that he has that he's wearing. Indigo, whilst Jagsy's busy looting the corpse.
Indigo walks barely towards the lizard captain.
Barely, I
looks
say.
at
Barely.
Jagsy, very, very disappointed, and then snuffs at the lizard and tries to find out whether he can still be saved.
No, this is definitely death by massive death.
It's gone.
Yeah, it's ripped out.
He's
You can
not
see
going to
bits of
use
his
the egg.
spine.
And what, you want it to die up here? Help me find it.
That's what you get back. Flick, you arrive at the base of the hull of the second chance. You can hear voices shouting, "Reload! They're going to take us! Fire everything! Raise the anchor! Get us the hell out of here! God damn it!"
I'm gonna whisper to the lizard man's ear, into
Yeah.
and basically because I'm holding onto his tail now,
Sure.
and I'm so next to him. I'm gonna whisper to him.
Kill the one giving orders.
The lizard folk looks at you.
Giving
"No
orders."
Shit, he says as he climbs up the side of the ship. You,
He said.
a lad comes running up behind you, Captain and Luna, and he starts waving frantically as well. The three of you, would you please roll a performance check for me? The three of you. Yeah. Combined, the three of you need to get to 45. A lad gives you 18.
Ooh. Wait, no, I have to
MVP alert.
performance.
Yeah. All right, you got it. Look at that. Yes! Look at that. Apparently there's this deep baritone that rings out over the
Wait, this got a good voice.
alto of a lad and the soprano of Lahuna, I would imagine. Nonetheless, this chorus of voices alerts the crew that it is the captain. The voice on the ship, Flick, you hear people shouting, "It's the captain! Hey, they found the captain!" as it starts to ring. "I don't care what they found. Shoot them and get us out of here. They're bloody lizard folk. That's what they are."
Can I see that one yet?
Yes, you can. He's a rather rotund individual waddling around on the ship, busy. It looks like he's got a cat o' nine tails in his hand, and as he walks past poor old mop-eyed Till, he sort of cracks it at the gunner. I'm working, don't worry, we got it," he says as he's busy cranking the ballista to fire again.
I'm gonna fire off a ray of frost, and scream, "That one!"
Kill that one!
You fire off your ray of frost. It's a ranged attack. Make it, if you please. Jagsy, you heading below deck?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the captain's quarters and see if I can find out what happened to the egg.
Not a
See if you
problem.
can rob it. Yeah, all right.
Not a problem. You drop into the hatch of the captain. It's very warm down here, and it's a liquid, but it's muddy as well, and it smells very much like lizard. Very, very reptilian down here. But there is a collection of items. It looks like the egg has been placed center in amongst. There's some chainmail armor, there's a helmet, there's a longsword, there's various. There's a. It looks like a very ornate blowgun or blow pipe of some kind. There's a pile of stuff with the egg placed neatly on top of it, mostly held in this wicker nest.
I'll just take the egg. I won't take anything else.
All right, you grab the egg, start making your way. Lahuna the bear, what are you doing?
Indigo the bear.
Indigo the bear, sorry.
Indigo the bear now walks up to Lahuna, looking at the situation, shrugs her bare shoulders, and then just slightly leans against Lehuna, looks up at her, and suggests, maybe with the movement of her head, that she's at really good riding height.
Ah.
Ooh.
Luna, you jump onto the bear.
Yes! I'm riding a bear, people! I'm going bear!
You are on the bear as the ship continues forward. Flick, you fired off your ray. It clips this fat one in the shoulder. He looks around. Oh my god, they're on the And as he says that, several more spears just pierce straight through him from the various lizard folk that have climbed up the side of the ship. There's general screaming until eventually this little...
It's okay! Everything's okay!
There's some confusion. It's like, Flick?
Hello!
What's going on?
I made friends!
No, but you're downstairs.
Yeah, well, wizard things. Ooh.
Oh. Did you find Morley? Because he's missing.
Yes, we'll talk about it later. Where's the other ones that work for Prime Water?
Oh, one of them's down below deck, sick as all hell, and the other three are on. And he points up to the helm where you can see these three very thuggish-looking individuals, and one of them is a dwarf who's holding this. It looks to be a double-barreled crossbow. It has a bow on top and a bow on the underside. They've formed a little cluster, and there are lizard folk closing in around them.
Surrender!
The two, that one is holding a hatchet, the other one seems to be holding a belaying pin, drop them. The dwarf clutches the crossbow. What should we surrender to you, you little green, scaly, blue, dragon thingy?
I'm going to whisper into the lizard man ear.
Kill him.
You whisper in that his ear. All the lizard folk does is he just makes a clicking sound in the back of his throat. And as the dwarf is busy shouting at you, lizard men just pile around him. There's one bolt that sails out into the air, fired off by chance or terror. And then there's a ripping, crunching sound. And then the sound of crying as the two men who dropped their weapons have dropped to their knees. Don't kill us, please don't kill us. The ship's yours. Let the lizard folk claim everything. Oh, just don't eat us, please.
Well, that remains to be seen, doesn't it?
Okay. What do we need
Now,
to see?
Need to do other things now. Goodbye.
I'm going to go down with the lizard man into the hold.
All right. There is a very wounded, well, not wounded, very seasick individual in the basic infirmary. He looks up at you. It's some grizzled old human. You don't know what his name is.
Better not kill someone in my infirmary.
I thought I
want the
told you
Prime
I
Water?
wanted water.
Do you work for Prime Water?
Of course I work for bloody Prime Water. So do you, you little blue barnacle.
You say this, and the lizard folk just swarm around you, and there's screaming, and then just blood pours out of the bottom of the hammock onto the floor. The lizard folk look up. Next.
Wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3.
From above deck, you hear someone saying, "No, I'm definitely Flick! Look, I've got blue scales and everything!"
Oh, shush!
Well, that was from above deck.
Oh.
What?
I'm going to go above deck.
You go above deck, there is Morley standing there. Who told you to kill these people? We work for them, remember?
Shh! Molly! It's okay. It's okay.
What are you doing here, Morley? We found Morley, everybody! Yay, we found Morley! Look, we found Morley! I found Morley! I did it, it was me.
I'm going to run over to Morley, and I'm going to sort of grab Morley and, spin him round several times.
There is a little
Really quick.
seagull dance happening on the deck.
So, Morley, how are you doing?
Morley looks at you. He is remarkably unfazed by the spinning. Oh, I understand. I'm fine. How are you, Flick?
Good. Well done. Good job.
Yeah, well done to you too. Glad we found me.
Yes. Thank you for fighting for me.
Yes. I'm gonna go lie down now. I think I have a headache.
Okay. You do that. You do that. Right. Well, I think everything's fixed.
Can I just stand while there's like blood pouring out of bodies?
Yes.
Just as two crying people just standing there.
Oh,
It's all over the deck. It's not long before the four of you, Luna riding this bear, arrive at the side of the ship. The Lizardfolk immediately disembark. The Lizardfolk look at their impaled captain. It looks like there's a brief period where they're all going to kill each other, as there's lots of teeth being bared. Their scales all seem to rough up. Some of them puff up. Their tails start to thump on the deck of the galley, until eventually one of them is left, quite a large one. He turns and says, "Captain, your ship is returned to you. You may disembark."
Thank you, Captain.
Yes.
We'll just take our things and move. Thank you much for bringing us this far, and send my regards to the Queen, and thanks as well.
It shall
Luna,
be done.
Help! Luna, help me.
All right, I think it's time to go now. Captain, why don't you go ahead? Laguna
Yes,
goes
thank
and
you.
shakes the hand of every single lizard person and says, "It was lovely to meet you. Thank you so much for having us. Lovely to meet Oh, your scales are so shiny."
Jagsy's gonna put a hand on Lahuna and sort of slowly start pulling her through the line a little
Oh,
quicker.
we're going. Oh, apparently we're going. Bye. Bye. Bye.
I'm back on
You're lovely. You're lovely. Bye. Bye.
After about 10 minutes, you are dragged onto the ship by Jagsy, and Salt, you arrive on deck to see a
my
very
ship.
proud-looking Flick, surrounded by bodies, and then the last two survivors, Spike and Revik, on their knees crying. When they see you, they look up at you. "Oh, thank God it's you, Salt. Oh, whoever that is you've hired, Galen ain't gonna come and touch you ever again, I assure you. That was freaking savage. Just don't kill us, all right? Look, we had orders to come and find you. Galen thought you'd been taken by the Lizardfolk, didn't he? Only clearly you weren't,
No.
which means you need to hire us.
Yes. Do you want jobs?
Of course, we're in the market. Absolutely, we want jobs.
Good. Because I'm done with Prime Water.
Oh, right,
I'm
you
done
are.
with it.
Absolutely. Good idea, actually.
I'm done
think
with
you've
his
been done with him
methods.
myself. Absolutely. Yes.
Good. We're
Yep.
done with robbing. We're done with slaving. We're done with murdering.
Yep.
Mostly done with murdering.
Yep. Absolutely. All done. Spike looks over at Revik. But I thought you were going to be... He was your godfather to your children. You just handing that all over? To which Revik says, nudges Spike. "Yeah, we're done. Done with Galen. All done. Yep, I'll find a different godfather."
Look, I'm not going to force you to stay. If you want off this ship,
Nope.
we can drop you off somewhere, all right?
Nope. All good, he says. Indigo? What are you doing while this
Indigo.
exchange is happening?
Yes, since Lehuna takes 10 minutes or more to say goodbye to everyone, the bear finally turns back into Indigo. She picks up the eggs. She takes care that all our stuff gets back onto the ship. And then while the discussion is upstairs, she goes downstairs, and then she comes up and she's purple with fury.
No!
There's a corpse in my infirmary.
Oh, how did that get there?
Give me a perception check, Indigo.
I don't need a perception check to know that was Flick.
Oh, no. No. Oh, you know it was Flick.
Oh,
Another natural 20!
Everything.
Natural 20!
As you are glaring at Flick, you hear Till the Mop-Eyed going, well, when isn't there a corpse in her infirmary?
Oh!
He tried to be quiet, but unfortunately he only has one eye, and so that has severely affected his ability to interpret anything.
I hand over very carefully the axe to Lehuna. And then I turn around to him. You do want to get healed next time you are hurt or sick, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You weren't supposed to hear that. It was supposed to be internal dialogue.
And you know that I do not get paid or anything. The only thing I maybe ask for is that your internal dialogue just shushes.
No more internal thoughts. Absolutely right, got you.
No,
more.
you Flick.
What?
Are you actually going to try and tell me you didn't have anything to do with that man ending up dead downstairs?
Flick turns invisible.
Flick turns invisible.
This is a ship, Flick. At some point, you will have to face me.
Yeah, I know that, but not right now.
I am a sea elf. My anger is very cold.
Okay.
It
I'm gonna
melts
sneak
very
down into the
slowly.
infirmary while she's angrily looking for me on deck, and I'm gonna use the cantrip shape water to like scrub her infirmary clean.
Oh.
All right, you're busy scrubbing the infirmary clean. Jagsy, what are you doing?
While everyone's distracted, Jagsy's sneaking over to the galley. He finds Cookie, and he goes, Cookie! Cookie!
What is it that you want? I've only just been rescued from the swamp. as you know.
I'll reach into my jacket, and I'll pull out an egg. I'll show it to him. Okay. We're sort of communicating in soft grunts and. I can't go. Yeah. Okay.
He reaches his
I'll
pudgy little fingers out towards it.
I'll gently place it in his fingers.
He holds
Like a
it
negligee egg.
with reverence. He slowly turns and starts heading towards the cupboard that is his larder.
I'll use my bulk to basically conceal his movements as he moves towards the.
He takes it and he puts it in this very large black jar, and then puts the lid on top of it, then closes the cupboard, then turns back. This is a religious moment for me. There is no greater glory than cooking one of those eggs, aside from a bigger glory, obviously, but this one is pretty big. I'm not going to ask how you got this, or where the money came from to buy this. I am going to dedicate my life to working out how best to prepare this meal. For after this meal, I will no longer be a chef, for I will have attained the highest possible meal I could ever have made in my life, and thus my purpose will be completed. So,
Wait.
You caught yourself.
Oh no! Don't give up cooking. Just when you get around to whatever it is that you do to perform magic on food happens, just not just me, but for everyone. The captain and Luna and Indigo and Flick and Pinky and yourself and everyone. Just everyone. Yeah.
There is only one egg, my friend. Whomever consumes this meal will never be able to eat food ever again. This will be the ultimate moment in their lives, after which everything else will taste of ash and dust. You must understand. This is the ultimate meal. This will be the greatest triumph ever. The gods themselves will come down and demand. They will say, Nami, this is a meal for me. Not for these mere mortals who are destined to eat it and then just poop it out at the end. No, this is something that must be the final moment. The ultimate celebration of tongue and mouth and taste and experience. This we will share only with the closest of friends. This will take us some time, however, my friend. We will have to persuade the captain that we will need to journey to the farthest ends of the globe in which to find the ultimate preparation cuisine to go with this. We need the ingredients. There is a feather of a phoenix which I know of. It is not far from here. Kandar, the city, it has it. With that feather, we might light the fire upon which this egg
do you have
might be
anything?
cooked.
Yeah, do you have anything that you need from the pit of Golgur?
As a matter of fact, there is one small little item which you might be able to find in the pit of Golgur. I need
Well, out with it.
the tear of a Kraken.
All right.
From that fluid, we will extract one single drop in which to add to this meal.
All right, Cookie. For you, mate. For you, and for this historic meal. But don't tell anyone. All right?
Are you
Mum's
mad?
the word.
Of course I will not tell anyone. Emperors and kings would send assassins and burglars to try and steal our very precious little sphere of destiny.
All right. I'll sort of back up and I'll sort of give him the knowing look of like, right. And Jagsy will go outside like as nonchalant as possible. But again, Jagsy is a big shark. So his version of nonchalant is his hands firmly in his pocket as he sways, probably wider than he usually sways, almost like cowboy gait as he sort of...
You're John Wayning the deck?
Yeah.
I get you.
Yeah.
Ship life starts to return to some semblance of normality. Lahuna, what are you doing? I just have to ask.
I've got the eggs. The eggs were handed to me, and I'm sort of shaking them up and down and talking to them. I'm singing them little songs. I'm saying, "You're so cute. Oh, you're so cute. Oh, you're so cute." And I'm just spending time with the babies, you know.
As I said, apparently ship life starts to return to normal with Lahuna talking to eggs.
You know, they hear everything in that state. They're so precious.
Captain, what are your orders?
There
There is an irate Indigo currently searching the decks.
Yeah, and Indigo goes up to Salt, grabs their arm.
Whoa, okay, what is it? What's going
I
on?
understand now.
What?
They are all mad. But I am not yet sure whether I should try and heal them, or whether this is a test and I have to endure it.
Uh-huh.
She
Let me know how
just
that
points
goes.
over at Lahuna. So,
Lahuna has a look of maternal bliss on her face.
and then over at Jagsy.
Jagsy's looking out to see like Ariel, like in The Little Mermaid, like he's like just being wafted in his hair. Well, if he had hair, it'd be blowing back, but he's...
So
The
basically,
viscera in his teeth are blowing back.
the viscera in your teeth are blowing back.
Yeah.
Well, Indigo, if there's anything I've learned about this crew is that you don't question anything they do.
Maybe that is wrong. You should question what they do. You should question why Jagsy just bit off the head of a man.
No, I question that very much. I'm not okay with that.
You're already done questioning that.
No, I'm
There was
going...
not a lot of questioning going on there.
He was going to betray us, and none of you were going to kill him.
You do not know that. I would have killed him if he had harmed the crew.
Yep, but that would have been after they harmed the crew.
Could we just not kill people?
If you learned some kind of divine magic while I was not looking, and now you can gaze upon the future, Jagsy.
Well, no, I've got a good sense of smell, and I can smell bullshit when it comes from people.
No, people produce
leave them
human
to it.
shit.
I'm going to leave those to it, and I'm going to go to our new two remaining living prisoners.
As you are making your way towards them, you notice that they have backed up to the railing of the back of the ship, of the stern of the ship. And one of them sees you, it's Spike, and he kind of coughs. Captain Salt, how nice to see you again, he says, stepping forward. The other, Revik, is just standing, looking out to sea. His back to you.
All right. Hi, Spike.
Yes,
see
Captain.
Alive. All of that just happened was not what I wanted to happen. I would have preferred that nobody died.
Yeah, good one, Captain Salt. Yeah. Don't you worry. Point was made. Point was taken. We absolutely loyal, aren't we, Revik?
This
Give me a
isn't what I
perception
want.
check, please, Salt.
No insight, just perception.
Well, no, perception for now. Oh. As Revik turns back, he's putting something into his pocket. Absolutely right. Yes, absolutely right.
Look, the two of you, I know you don't want to be here. You don't have to tell me I'm not going to kill you if you say you don't. I'm done with that, all right? I'm done with all of that.
Meanwhile, in the background, there's a screaming match going on between Jagsy and Indigo.
Yeah.
I just have a weird crew, all right? Look, the point is, if you want to get off and find your way to a city somewhere and find ship back to Saltmarsh, I'm perfectly happy to let you off, all right? I don't want to keep you here if you don't want to stay.
Sorry, what was that, Captain? Very sorry. Yes, no, we definitely want to get off this ship. I mean, with all due respect, Salt, you're going to put us off then?
Yes.
You swear?
I swear it. I swear it on Halvo's breath. I swear it on my own bones. I swear it on whatever you want.
Right.
I'm not going to kill you.
Okay. Give me just a second, Captain Salt, he says, and he's starting to busy pulling on his jacket looking for something. Where the hell has it gone?
What is it?
No, don't worry, Captain. Just trying to undo something. Behind him, out on the ocean's horizon, you see a very large sail slowly making its way towards the ship. And as it's getting closer, you see this very small black sphere sailing through the air. And it lands about 50 foot wide of the ship with this tremendous splash as Mangonel has been fired at the second chance. He turns around. I didn't know that you were going to put us off. You don't understand. I'm sure if we explain it...
Who is that?
Well,
I'd grab his collar and
okay, all right, fine. It's Callista Crow. You know Callista Crow to be one of Gellen's most savage assassins. Commands the Red Thunder, a rather violent little ship designed to take out other ships.
We were
If
probably
Captain
good friends once upon a time.
Callista Crow is involved, yes, she is not likely to surrender. She's not likely to give in. She is simply doing a job. And she's the kind who stabs you in the face and says, well, I was paid. Job done.
Yeah, we probably got along really well back then. I turn around and I scream, full sails!
All right. Yes, Lahuna.
Lahuna grabs somebody, anybody close to her who is on the is there anybody close to her?
Oddly enough, Till, the one-eyed, is always around Luna when Luna's around.
I look him up and down.
Oh,
is he relatively trustworthy for giving value of
Well,
trust?
he's always been fairly trustworthy. He's a little bit odd. And the one eye is sometimes a bit off-putting, and the three fingers on the one hand, and the breath, and the grizzly beard, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's human. What are you going to do? They're not blessed with beauty.
No. Yes.
I hand the this giant crocodile with emerald eyes sack at him that is full of eggs, and I say, "Look after the babies." And then I turn around and I'm like, "Right, full speed ahead, full wind in the sails, unfurl the sail. Here we go towards the pit of Golgur."
There is general running around as the crew are happy to start having orders.
Golgur. Indigo leaps in and says, Golgur.
Wait, how do you say it?
Golgur?
Golgur? I think it might last too long.
There's general running. I need initiative from everybody, but before we do that, I'm going to get Fantasy Grounds to do that for me. And let's just add in the second chance to the map. There you are. There is the second chance in all of its glory. And we will add in the pursuing ship as well.
Ooh.
That is the Thunder's Bite was the name of the ship. There is the Thunder's Bite starting to come into view for you guys. I will share the map shortly so you can see. Now remember, this is not relative distance at all. The ships are 800 feet apart and hopefully rapidly closing in on one another. So there
Hopefully.
is... Wow. One of you can roll wind. Indigo, why don't you roll the wind direction for me? Roll a d8 if you please.
Roll the wind. Indigo is already druiding it up.
Druiding it up. Roll the 1. The wind is due north. The wind is due north, and the Thunder's Bite is sailing in from the south, taking full advantage of that. And she seems to be gaining on you. You have 3 orders that you can give your ship. Indigo, Lahuna, you have already ordered full sail ahead as best as you possibly can. Who are you firing your longbow at, Jaggerjaw?
Oh, sorry. I wasn't firing at anyone. It misfires in my backpack.
Trigger finger.
Hell, chaos! Oh my goodness! All right, you are engaged in this combat. Up first, let's see who's up first, is Indigo. Orders are being shouted, the sails are busy being unfurled, people are climbing up and down the rigging. Are you going to issue any orders, or are you going to wait for your valiant captain to do so?
I'm going to wait. So if anything is missing among the orders, I'm just going to shelve my action and wait for
Very
the
good.
captain to go first.
That is what you are doing indeed. We skip through the sails. They don't get to operate on their own accord. Flick, are you issuing any orders?
Yeah, I guess I'm running up to the deck. I'm still invisible at this point.
Yeah.
So
little bloody footprints come running up onto the deck.
What? Yeah, I guess. And tap 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 tap. And I run into the middle of the ship. I dispel invisibility, and I scream, "Wind! Wind!"
All right, you are ordering the wind action. The wind action, the sails start to fill up as this wind starts to whip around you. And there is a general creaking and groaning as the ship starts to move forward. What are the effects of wind?
It moves an extra 10 feet per... just an extra 10 feet of movement.
Correct.
The duration of the...
All right, so yes, it gains 10 foot to its movement speed. That is important to note. Flick has gone. Next up, Lahuna.
Lahuna bounces over to the wheel.
Yep.
And says, "Come on, let me." To the person who is at the wheel.
Sure, that was more
And
like... He walks away.
Oh, now I feel bad. Okay, scratch that. Lahuna says, "Let me help." And she takes the wheel, the top part, like this.
All right.
And I would like, that's the full speed ahead action, isn't it?
You're going to take the full speed ahead action?
Yeah.
If you
So-
want to. Go for it.
I add 1d6.
Roll a d6.
5 per round. Roll high.
You
That
gain
was not
another
high.
10 foot per round. You have managed to increase your ship's speed by 20 feet per round. That is the second action that you have taken for this. The Thunder's Bite, from a range of 800 feet, starts to fire everything that she has that's within range, which is her single mangonel. It fires directly at the sails of the Second Chance, sailing through the air. There's a horrific ripping sound as one of the large stone balls slams into your sails, dealing a tremendous amount of 21 points of damage. Bits of lanyard and stay and yardarms shatter and break as canvas comes loose. You have taken 21 points of damage, which I believe reduces your speed. We will come to that shortly when we get there. That was their action as far as you can see. And that brings us to Jaggerjaw.
As the mangonel round hits the sails and starts tearing at it, he yells out, "Come on, set up that jerry rig! Move it up! I'll be patching this!" I am going to use patch it and issue the command.
Go for it.
So I heal it automatically for 10.
You are trying to heal the sails?
Yep. And then as the bosun, I can issue an order for them to make a jerry rig.
You can indeed try that, yep. So I'm just going to do the 10 points to the sails.
Okay.
Nice.
Cool. Let me just figure out where.
I'll come back to you on that one whilst you
Yeah.
work out the values. Captain, your final order, Captain Salt. You have no orders left, as a matter of fact.
No. I'm just going to keep holding on to the Brevik and just go, "What did you do?"
I signalled them to come to our rescue. We weren't entirely sure if you'd been taken by the Lizardfolk or if you just absconded, so we were just... It was
And this is
backup. It was
rescue.
backup. That's all I had to say, Captain.
This is rescue. They're firing on us.
Yes, well, obviously I was signalling to them, he says, dropping the little piece of silver mirror, that you had taken back the ship and you were against Galen.
No. I just sort of throw him onto the side.
All right, Jagsy,
I'm not going to throw him anywhere, but
your yes, no effect as you try to jury-rig the ship. That brings us to the top of the next round, and we're out of time, so we will be back next week as this catastrophic battle happens in the oceans. Thank you to my sponsors, World Anvil, worldanvil.com. Go check them out for your world creation, everything you could possibly want there. Dungeon Fog, all of these awesome maps made in Dungeon Fog, even the ones that are above you can't currently see were in Dungeon Fog. And of course, Fantasy Grounds providing us with all this awesome stuff, allowing us to keep track of all of these different ships and things. To my wonderful, wonderful players, thank you for all participating. Go and check out Mama Saduq's Treasure Hunt. The links are in the chat. And until next time, from me and everybody else, goodbye.
Bye.